Hello. When I decided to put this page together, I knew all along that not only would I read my own poetry, I would read poetry by authors that inspire me or speak to me, that I'm impressed by, or just simple poems that are that are just a part of my life. They're a part of the rhythm of my day. Um, Rudyard Kipling is someone I've always enjoyed, and we'll get the joke out of the way early. Do you enjoy Kipling? I've never kippled. Um, One of the poems that I enjoy most by him is something I'm going to read for you today. It's called Soldier and Sailor 2, which will seem a little odd, I'm sure, because I'm a romantic and a very peaceful man, and I don't normally worry too much about things of a martial nature, although I do have my Viking epic that I'm working on. And the reason that I'm reading this poem is because I do have Scottish ancestry. I have Taylors and Bells, Beall, Calders, multiple families from Scotland in my background. And so there are several tartans that I could probably comfortably wear and not feel guilty about it, and most often I wear a black watch. And if I wear that on St. Patrick's Day, I occasionally get, I've been threatened. I don't I don't wear the black watch for their accomplishments in on the field or their martial accomplishments. I wear it for something that happened in 1852. February 1852, members of the Black Watch, and I believe it was the 73rd Regiment of Foot at the time, were on a sidewheel steamer that was going around the Horn of Africa, was on its way to drop troops off for the Kafir War. And at Danger Point on the Western Cape, they struck an unmarked rock. And they had, at that time, when you traveled by ship to be dropped off for a tour of duty, you traveled with your family. You traveled with your wife and your children if you had them. You couldn't, obviously. Soldiers didn't make much then, and a lot of times it was cheaper and easier to take them with you than it was to leave them. This ship, as it went down, and it went down quickly. It was called the Birkenhead. And as it went down, and was going down quickly, they put the women and the children off in the boats first, and they made rafts for them. They tried to get as many of them off safely as they could, because it was obvious that there weren't enough lifeboats, there weren't enough rafts. It was my assumption is there were no life jackets, and there was no way to get the 600 plus people off of the boat into the conveyances to try to get them the 2 miles to shore. There were I believe it was 9 cavalry horses on board, or cavalry horses. That's cavalry. Yeah, it's cavalry. On board, and they were driven over the side of the boat. They tried to get them to swim to shore, and it was a rough sea, it's my understanding. And I honestly, I don't know if the horses survived. But according to the reports at the time, there were no boats left, and there were no rafts left. And the men who had done everything they could to save their families stood at attention on the deck of the ship with the pipers piping and the drummers drumming as the ship broke up and sank underneath them. There were 193 survivors, including all of the women and children, and almost none of the Black Watch Highlanders. So when I wear a Black Watch kilt, I wear it to commemorate doing what's right, doing what's good, doing the decent and honorable thing. This wreck is the wreck of the Birkenhead, is the origin of the phrase "women and children first." This is where it has its foundation in that particular wreck. And so when I wear my belted plaid, I don't have the more modern kilt. I wear the hand pleated belted plaid, and mine is a Black Watch, and I wear it proudly, and I wear it for them. So that's what I'm going to read for you today, in commemoration of Rudyard Kipling, and of the men of the Birkenhead, and the men of the Black Watch, and for men and women and children who do the right thing, who strive to do the right thing, and who put others first. I'm going to read for you Soldier and a Sailor 2 by Rudyard Kipling. And it's written in a British vernacular, which I can't duplicate. I'll use the contractions that are in the poem, and it'll come close to an American vernacular, but be aware I'm not going to attempt the British vernacular, because Rudyard Kipling wrote so wonderfully in that, and I just simply can't duplicate it. So, Soldier and Sailor too. As I was spitting into the ditch, aboard of the Crocodile, I seed a man on a man o' war got up in the regular style. He was scraping the paint from off her plates, and I says to him, "Who are you?" Says he, "I'm a jolly, Her Majesty's jolly soldier and sailor too." Now his work begins by God knows when, and his work is never through. He isn't one of the regular line, nor he isn't one of the crew. He's a kind of giddy hermaphrodite, soldier and sailor too. And after I met him all over the world, at doing all kinds of things, like landing himself with a Gatling gun to talk to them heathen kings, he sleeps in an hammock instead of a cot, and he drills with a deck on a slough, and he sweats like a jolly, Her Majesty's jolly, soldier and sailor too. For there isn't a job on the top of the earth the beggar don't know nor do. You can leave him at night on a bald man's head to paddle his own canoe, and he's a sort of bloomin' cosmopolis, soldier and sailor too. We've fought 'em in trooper, we've fought 'em in dock, and drunk with 'em in betweens, when they called us the seasick scullery maids, and we called 'em the ass marines. But when we was down for a double fatigue, from Woolwich to Burner Bayou, we sent for the jollies, Her Majesty's jollies, soldier and sailor too. They think for themselves, and they steal for themselves, and they never ask what's to do. But they're camped and fed, and they're up and fed before our bugles blew. Oh, they ain't no limpin' procrastitutes, soldier and sailor too. You may say we are fond of an artist cut, or rootin' in barrack yards, or startin' a board school mutiny along of the onion guards. But once in a while we can finish in style for the ends of the earth to view, the same as the jollies, Her Majesty's jollies, soldier and sailor too. They come of our lot, they was brothers to us, they was beggars we met and knew, yet barrin' an inch in the chest and the arm, they was doubles of me and you, for they weren't no special chrysanthemums, soldier and sailor too. To take your chance in the thick of a rush, with firing all about, is nothing so bad when you cover to hand, and leave in a liken to shout. But to stand and be still, to the Birkenhead drill, is a damn tough bullet to chew. And they done it, the jollies, Her Majesty's jollies, soldier and sailor too. Their work was done when it hadn't begun. They was younger than me and you. Their choice it was plain, between drowning in heaps and being mopped by the screw. So they stood and was still, to the Birkenhead drill, soldier and sailor too. We're most of us liars, we're half of us thieves, and the rest are as rank as can be. But once in a while we can finish in style, which I hope it won't happen to me. But it makes you think better of you and your friends, and the work you may have to do, when you think of the sinking Victoria jollies, soldier and sailor too. Now there isn't no room for to say you don't know. They have proved it as plain and true, that whether it's widow or whether it's ship, Victoria's work is to do. And they done it, the jollies, Her Majesty's jollies, soldier and a sailor too. Thank you. And I'm assuming you caught the references to the Birkenhead, that to stand and be still to the Birkenhead drill is a damn tough bullet to chew. And that's why I wear the plaid that I do. That's why I wear the tartan that I do. And it's because of this poem and the people that inspired it. So, thank you very much. That's all.